Time for the public eye and the open mind. Morning, bridge listeners all over the world. This is the station that links Jamaicans everywhere. Stay tuned. The Honorable Pearnel Charles Sr. is the co-host today. We're going to talk with Desmond Richards, veteran journalist, and later on, the president of the Masterbuilders Association. We have an idea to put to him. Yes, Mr. Lenworth Kelly, we want to bring in the unattached youth and make sure they get training so that we don't have to import workers for the construction industry. What you saying? Very important. Stay with the bridge. 876-551-5782 and the studio line is 876-676-4996. The bridge everywhere in the world. Well, Jamaica doesn't have much water flowing today. That's a problem. Mr. Charles, good day and greetings to you, sir.
Good day, and it's a very unhappy day for me.
Why?
Because of what is happening in the industrial sector.
Yeah.
It never have to happen. It should not have gone this way. You know, and I know that there are certain sectors of the economy that you need to advise the managers. You are going to withdraw your service. Your contract say that.
This is essential services.
Essential service.
Yeah, water being
Light,
the first among them.
Water, medical, and so forth. Where life is. I did not hear. I used to represent the Water Commission workers. Yes.
Yeah.
And don't tell me you didn't know that there's going to be a strike, because you need to know. You need to have workers who will tell you what's going to happen. You follow me?
Oh.
Now, don't get the impression that I think the workers don't have a case. In fact, the industrial dispute make provision for them to deal with their case.
Yeah.
If you have a dispute, then you need to say to the management within your union need to write to them and say within 7 days we need to have discussion, acceptable or settlement for us to proceed. During that time, arrangements can be made for Miss Bertha to have like water for her picnic, school have some water, or we settle, or somebody in the hospital who is going to take an operation. If it's light or so, it cannot work that way. That's not the kind of union that I was a part of.
But the pattern of essential workers saying that they are so frustrated that they are going to break that law. I remember, I think once when you were minister, you had to take some to court.
Well,
in order to enjoin that they go back to work.
Between me and you, Ronnie, where you have 100% workers, you never have more than 25% of that 100 take this type of thing.
Oh.
The rest of people always understand. They have to follow. Because they don't want not going down.
Solidarity.
Follow me? Some not even some vex.
Yes.
But they stay away.
Okay. So here now, my concern is about that too, because our listeners from abroad should know that Jamaica is without a water supply. The National Water Commission workers, over 2,000 of them, have gone on strike, saying that their reclassification, which they have been promised, has been delayed for many years, and they're tired of the promises. Now, I'm looking at the broader picture for asking your opinion, because it seems to me that this one is very difficult, intractable to solve. First of all, every study that has been done tells us that the National Water Commission is heavily overstaffed and is inefficient. Tony Rebel, who had some very incisive comments on the bridge before we started today, made one error. He said that the workers must get the money because the Water Commission have a whole heap of money. The Water Commission loses billions of dollars every year.
It has to be subsidized by the same
tax
people
who are
did
now
not
deprived.
have any water this morning.
Absolutely, sir. So, when you hear Mr. Barnett, the chief executive, for whom I have great respect, when you hear him saying that the process is elongated, etc., he's really saying that the board of the Water Commission and the minister in charge of water can't move on this matter because the Minister of Finance is the one who has to make the decision, because it is out of the consolidated fund that any retrenchment, any reclassification can take place. And the moment Minister Clark were to touch and improve the conditions at the Water Commission, justified though they may be, yes, it's going to affect the entire public service, which he is in the process of reorienting and reorganizing their compensation package in the most difficult of times, because there's been economic downturn before COVID. COVID aggravated this, and now you have the international aspects that are making things harder for us, harder for the workers, harder for the government.
May I disturb you and just tell you something? It's the worst thing they have done to start negotiation.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to go back to work.
Yeah.
You don't want to see the soldiers call out tonight and say, go open up the pipes.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
The military is going to have to go and open the water system. You don't lock off the water and walk off the job.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, the unions should have been advised by the workers. Listen, we have employed you to negotiate on our behalf. We have been waiting long. We are telling you to tell them that within 7 days, according to our contract, we are going to withdraw our service.
But no, I don't think the unions have that kind of play.
The union didn't even know.
Yes.
Based on what I'm hearing.
Okay, so what is that saying to us? It is saying to us that this is part of a national malady we have, where people decide to do something hoping that they can expecting that they can get away with it, because the canons, the laws, the practices, the traditions in relation to social economic order are no longer viable. They're not prepared to listen to it.
The fear of the leaders to follow their own contract. The fear of the leader to say, listen, you have broken your contract. You don't have a contract.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference?
That's political suicide.
Well, you are the one who always tell me that you look on that secondary.
No, I'm insisting that be the case. But I'm saying that neither of our major political tendencies.
But I would tell you, Ronnie, based on my knowledge of it, it's not political suicide. What has been wrong is that there's no active discussion taking place on this matter.
There's no active discussion. No, so what government does?
Well, what they're talking?
I don't know.
Is it around the table?
Yes, but
I understand it's not around. First thing I heard was that discussions are taking place for the system, and that they were not in it.
Yeah. Yes.
So you can't discuss for certain civil servants and leave out the Water Commission that is part of it.
But then
that's a problem.
But we know better than that. I mean, people like yourself, I mean, there's a well-defined system of consultation.
Of course.
Yeah. But then look what happened yesterday, sir. This worries me again. Yes? The matter is raised in the sitting of Gordon House, the parliament of the country.
Yeah.
And in answer to a question from MP Fitzjackson, the Minister of Labour, for whom I have great respect, Mr. Samuda, gets up and says the water supply will be okay, will be resumed now. Yes? A minister...
No. Hold on. Mr. Samuda said that there's going to be resumption.
Resumption?
No.
And there's been no resumption now.
So, hold on.
But then how can a minister say something that is palpably untrue and affects everybody in the country? What an embarrassment.
Or maybe the minister was misled.
But whoever misled him,
hold on.
The buck stops there. The Prime Minister is sitting beside him.
Yes.
Yes.
And I am sure that the minister could not go to cabinet, go to parliament, and say to me and you who don't have any water, don't worry.
Yeah.
In other words, I have settled the dispute. Water will run tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
If Buster was in the seat, it would be a different thing.
You might well say that. But what my concern is, I have the highest regard for ministerial responsibility.
Yeah.
Yes? And you know from your own experience and your own conviction that you must never mislead the House.
I will sit here and say, knowing Samuda as I do,
he wouldn't do it.
He would not do that.
He
must have been advised by the unions and the workers. We are going back to work.
And therefore, it is incumbent to wonder who could have done that. Yes, why would they have misled him? Yes, and what consequences are there? Because look at so when we look at the overall issue, what is truth really matters, you know.
Ronnie, I am hurt this morning.
Yes.
You know why I'm hurt?
Yes.
Because there is a better way to get a better solution
For everybody.
for all of us to survive.
Yes.
You don't tell me that the workers had told the union they're going to walk off last night without you advising the nation, without you advising hospitals,
Yeah.
schools this morning,
Every school is out this morning.
children going to school.
Yeah.
I mean, what money?
Yeah.
What money?
Yeah.
What personal money?
Yeah, can equate that. Sure.
can-
And the very institution that you are striking against is losing, the chief executive says,
Hold
between
on.
$50 and $100 million a day. And it's already in trouble, already has to visit a 10% increase on the consumer.
But you
Oh my.
you don't do the right. You don't say the right one yet.
Which one?
You are saying to the people
Yeah.
who this government
Yeah.
is taking the taxes to subsidize
Yeah.
the water commission so you can get paid,
Yeah.
you can produce water,
Yeah.
and you are withdrawing the water from them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
there is absolutely no excuse.
Yeah. Well,
The workers,
I'm proud of you.
the workers must have discussion on their matter.
Yeah.
Must come to a conclusion, an acceptable one.
But then, okay.
But you can't tell me you are going to walk off in view of the fact that you have a contract which say you are going to give me and you 7 days notice
Yeah.
that you must settle
Yeah.
or
So-
acceptably discuss it to a point where we can agree.
So-
it is out of order.
Yes.
It is unacceptable.
And I accept your position. Let me ask you the anterior question, though. Why do you think they did it?
Ronnie, I will put myself around the table. I've been there for 41 years. Some of the workers decide that. And it's a minority of workers call strike. You never have a strike where all the workers, unless it is decided by the union.
So what is it? Just a few indisciplined people who sway everybody else?
A few people who just don't care.
That's a very fragile social order if that happens.
But it has been from the beginning.
Okay.
Who calls strikes?
Yeah.
I have never called a strike.
Okay, sir.
You know why I don't call strike?
Why?
Because I go around the bargaining table.
Yeah.
And I said to the
So
management.
why doesn't that process work in an instance like this? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I am telling you,
So
I
you
have
said
not
they may
discussed
not-
it.
they may
I've
not-
listened to some. And I will tell you that the unions were not told that they're going to lock off all the water,
Yeah.
that
So,
no worker going to go
so what does that say
in
about?
view of the contract that you have.
So they don't have a trust in the union.
Huh?
They don't have a trust in the union.
I don't want to say it your way. It has happened before. It has happened to me too, that I hear that there's a strike, run come.
But
And
you
when
know,
I go, it's not the majority of workers,
Yeah.
but the majority say, boy, I don't want to get involved. So
but they do get involved. They get involved in very meaningful ways that
because they don't go to work.
hurts everybody.
Yeah.
So, and then I have another big question for you. The workers at the Water Commission want reclassification and want more money.
Yes.
What is the relationship between that request, yes, which many consider justifiable? What is the relationship between that demand and productivity?
Well,
So what are we going to have?
we have discussed this already. Maybe, and I would say that once it's on the table and it's being discussed, we accept that it is justifiable that discussion to take place. What the conclusions should be or will be, we don't know.
No, but the workers I heard speaking are saying we want more money for what we are doing now.
Yes, yes.
But no. But hold on, sir. The country manifestly cannot afford that. The customers cannot manifestly afford that because the very economy of the Water Commission right now, yes, is not profitable. It's not sustainable.
And the workers are going to tell you that that's not their business.
Okay, well if it's not their business,
hold on. You're going to look at the worker input
yes,
and to see where the problem is.
yes,
I tell you something.
Yeah.
I was Minister of Water too. Trade unionist one time, Minister of Water.
waterman,
Right? In Kingston alone, more than 50% of the water that has been
wasted.
pulled from St. Thomas
Yes, wasted. Leak it.
Chlorinated.
Okay. So
distributed.
So the
go underground.
So the
Hold on. And I said to the Prime Minister and Cabinet, Prime Minister, 60% of all the water treated, distributed, is going to waste. We have to dig up from Port Royal right to Boulevard and put in new pipes. It was agreed. In fact, I think money was negotiated.
Had huge sums of money borrowed, which we're still paying
and
for.
And what happened?
It never happened.
Water. I would like to know what is the percentage of water that has been leaking.
No, it's much less. And there has been improvement to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
But it still is a very high level.
Yeah.
But you said something interesting. A worker cannot say that I don't business whether the enterprise I'm working for is making money or not making money, can afford to pay me or can't afford to pay me. That's a for your responsibility. That is slavery talk.
No, well, let me explain to you what I mean. The worker himself will say, my input is not where the fault is.
Still, even if that is the case,
right?
The worker still has to say, one must fix the whole thing.
The worker will also say, I have to survive.
Sure.
My children.
Sure.
My home.
Yes.
My input, like everybody else, have to be paid for.
I agree.
So therefore, find out where the problem is.
Right. So then,
then get the problem solved.
So where is the board of the Water Commission? Where is the?
You're asking me. I'm not the minister.
No. But I'm asking you.
So where was it?
Where was it? Where is it right now? Because their inattention to these overall things certainly has to be seen as contributory to the whole difficulty. No, this is a serious issue. It doesn't only apply to the Water Commission. Yes. The civil service, mind you, sir, the entire civil service, back on the back of the Water Commission continuation of strike this morning, is saying that unless they get a reply from the Minister of Finance by midday, yes, they are going to take industrial action.
Yes.
You know what this reminds me of? 1968 and the anthem, Everything Crash. Remember?
No, what was that?
Everything Crash.
Everything Crash.
Yeah, man. Where you had
watermen strike.
Yeah.
Firemen strike.
Yes, sir. You're my Pearnel.
Everything crash.
Lafayette, you're too young. All you, Richie.
Yeah, but Ronnie.
1968.
Let us.
Too old whitehead, man.
Let us say to the unions.
Yeah.
Look here.
It's a big problem, you know.
You have a job. It's a big problem.
Tony Rebel, you're right. It don't need a change. It need a overhaul.
Yeah. Listen. Union men and workers. Once the government accepts to go around the table, the industrial situation has set how you finish it. You go around the table, right?
Yes.
If you cannot settle it around the table,
yes,
then you now go to the dispute tribunal,
yes,
and you go to the courts.
Yes. Well, I understand the process. I agree with the process. That process may be thick, may be dilatory, but it is better than the anarchy of the present time.
That is correct.
That is the point. On which note, we take a break on the public eye. We're talking the texture of the nation, the relationship between the people, the vibes between work and management, essential services. Everything crash? Oh, God, no. Soon come. This is the Bridge 99 FM, bringing Jamaicans together at home and all over the world. Set up Pearnel Charles Sr. today. Play Everything Crash. Jamaica feels like 1968. Not quite, but unfortunately.
Well, I think there is a moment of laughter.
Yes.
But the seriousness is a lot of people didn't get a cup of tea this morning.
True. And
a lot of children didn't get a cup of tea.
Yeah.
People are not warned sufficiently.
Yeah.
And workers have to have a heart.
And I still want to.
And I said that get around the table, get back to work.
Words of a veteran trade unionist. Desmond Richards, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and I am happy to be at the table.
Yeah, man, we're bargaining things. Pearnel, Pearnel greeting you.
My friend Pearnel, one thing I would say, that when he was Minister of Public Utilities, and I challenge anyone alive now to challenge me on this, that this strike would have been averted. Why? Because of proactive action. Now, Pearnel would be one, and I'm not buttering him up because I don't butter up politicians. But Pearnel would be the one who would make sure that all parties are taken to the bargaining table. Because let me tell you something, my limited experience on hurt has taught me one thing. Words can solve anything, and words can stir up anything. So when we are on the bargaining table, talks, that is what you call consultation before confrontation. And I know Pearnel Charles would have done that. One thing I know he would not have done. He would not have gone to the house and mislead the house. And I don't want to hear about that the minister was misled, because one thing I know, if I was a minister, and I have seen some ministers, including Pearnel, operate like that, we have our own heads. So when we are given advice, it is incumbent on us to sift those advice, make sure that we are certain, confident of what we are reporting, because we are the minister. We don't report false information and then say we were misled. How can a minister be misled? In my book, that's rubbish.
Desmond, I heard somebody saying Pearnel beg a visitor. All right, so you're buttering him up. But let me just tell you how it goes. It is my job as an industrial relations expert, as a minister of labor, to have, go a little further, as a union man, in every section that I have delegates who will call me any hour of the night to tell me there's a problem. I don't hear it after the problem is out there. I hear it that way. And I am at the work 10 minutes before the problem.
Okay.
And you said it right. You negotiate before you demonstrate, before you call strike. And, and the industrial relations make provision for it. The minister and the Minister of Labor. If you fail, you send it to the Industrial Dispute Tribunal immediately. The Industrial Tribunal immediately give an order that not even the Supreme Court can move it. And if you don't go back, it says what happened to you.
So what happened to why is such an ordered situation?
Don't ask me why it never happened, Ronnie.
Well, I'm going to.
Hold on.
Because I know.
Let me finish one more.
Yes.
When the Industrial Dispute Tribunal meet immediately, they order you back to work and they start to talk with the management immediately. Yeah. No worker is going to be vexed if their matter is being discussed. What is happening, and probably you have to blame government or management too, for this thing to be dragged on so long without put before a group of people who can come to a final decision.
No, but this is
well.
Go ahead.
Well, I think after I was waiting because Pearnel finally put his hands on the problem. Now, what is that? As I understand it, what is happening at the Water Commission here is a hold problem, and I believe that responsible management ought to first of all have an appreciation of the gravity of this problem and take it to the negotiating table long before any S word comes up.
And Desmond, if you cannot negotiate it, the law gives you an authority to send it to who cannot negotiate but dictate.
Of course.
Okay, but there's a
the Industrial Dispute Tribunal dictates.
Yeah, we got that. But the deeper problem, Desmond, for me, is that this one can't fix. You know why? Because the Water Commission needs a huge reorganization. The economy of water in Jamaica is what is at stake here, and the Water Commission has been running at a deficit for years and years, losing half of what they trade with water, as Pearnel was saying earlier, and getting better, but not enough yet. It is, by many accounts, it is hugely overstaffed and over-bureaucratized, and it becomes a deep political as well as logistical problem to reorient it. Okay, 1. 2, even if we pass that by and we speak of raising pay, to touch your water commission reclassification creates a complete reverberation. The nurses want to reclassify, the police want to reclassify, the civil servants said if they don't hear by midday they're going to go out. We are talking about a structure of government which is becoming increasingly unmanageable.
So therefore, the reason why, as Pearnel puts it, the reason why babies didn't get a cup of tea, old ladies didn't get a cup of tea, thousands of workers, people in general, didn't get to shower this morning, is because of the incompetence of the state. Are you in agreement with that, Pearnel?
Listen, let me say that you don't say it for me.
Well, say.
The union should know that there were going to be a disruption. The union should advise the minister, which is government, that there's going to be a disruption. The minister have several ways of solving or preventing that disruption. Call them immediately to your office, and within 3 hours, if you cannot solve it, you send it to where it can be solved.
Yeah, but then, you're
none of those happen, Ronnie.
But you're avoiding Desmond's question.
Yes, what?
If since that has not happened, is the state incompetent?
It does not have to be incompetence.
Why don't I do it then?
Neglectful then.
No,
Neglectful.
Hold on.
That word might be too harsh.
Yes.
Neglectful. Neglectful.
Now, I would say that the state should have been pushed by the unions to come to some decision. If I were there, I would not wait until the workers have to walk out. And I'm sure the union didn't even know they were going to walk out.
Yeah, but you're dealing with the consequence, and once again we're refusing to deal with the causes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the cause has to do with a construct of authority and of bureaucracy in Jamaica, which is unwieldy. It cannot work. It is not intended to meet the reasonable needs of the majority of the people.
Let me ask you then, Ronnie, you run it. If you were there, tell me a suggestion that I could put on the table.
Well, first of all, if I were there now,
Yeah.
I would do exactly as you suggest. But what I am saying is, it is a fundamental position of political economy that I take,
Yes.
is that the existing structures, patterns, habits of our governance cannot achieve the results that we all want, and will inevitably end up in circumstances like this. Because go ahead, Desmond.
No, go ahead.
No, let go. No, because what I wanted, since I have so much bile on my stomach, and I don't want it to suffocate me.
No, go ahead.
Because the point you and Pearnel raised a while ago, that can be replicated across the country.
Of course.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force needs reform.
Yes.
Right,
The Jamaica Defense Force needs reform.
right,
The Civil Service needs reform.
right.
And successive political administrations have kicked them down the street.
Of course. It's not an accident. It's not an accident.
Hold on.
That the reclassification has taken 14 years.
Let me ask you, Desmond, to look at what you just said a while ago. You have pointed out where the problems are. One, you have not pointed out. Can the country find funds to solve this problem? No.
Mr. Charles, hold a second.
But they can't come to an understanding and an agreement.
No, I disagree.
No,
with you.
leadership has weight and it filters down. I don't buy into the argument about having funds, because let me tell you, there's no household in Jamaica. Grace Kennedy don't have enough funds. The United States government don't have enough funds.
Okay.
So if we're talking about having enough funds, let us put that aside.
I said enough funds to solve the problem.
What is required? No, what is that? We use whatever is wisely and in a way to satisfy our demand as best as we can. We are not doing that in Jamaica. We thousands, millions of dollars have been wasted on matters which could be put on the back burner.
Desmond.
For example, why I asked to speak on this program. I hear a lot of mealy-mouthed nonsense. I'm referring specifically to that incident in Tivoli Garden, right? Now, there is a thinking in Jamaica that the military is part of the crime-fighting apparatus.
Denham Town.
And it is not, because the training, when you train people, can you imagine? I am trained as a carpenter. I do carpentry. What you expect me to lay blocks? I am putting on roofs. Don't tell me that I am supposed to go down and lay blocks. That calls for retraining. So do what you want. Do we want a civil defense force? Well, let us do what we want. When you deploy the military on the street in our situation, remember, the reason why the military is on the street, is because for 20, 15 years we have been killing 1,000 people, murdering 1,000 people. That is a war situation, because I don't think up to date. I don't think 1,000 has been killed in Ukraine as yet, and that is war.
Hot war.
Yeah. So the military is in a situation where they're in a war-like situation. Now, what do you expect from them? And I'm saying the last thing that a government can do is to deploy your in other words, your military is not supposed to be a little force that you become used in common parlance. You mustn't get used to this whole of them,
Well, but the Prime Minister says they've been trained to respect human rights. And
Desmond,
yeah.
Foolish.
Listen to me for 10 seconds. The people of Jamaica have demonstrated more respect for the military than the police.
Why?
Hold on. The people of Jamaica have been more acceptable. Now, an incident has happened in Denham Town which has caused a lot of people to think otherwise. But the military has done a fantastic job with the police over the past year. Don't be unfair to them.
Colonel, I am not being unfair.
No, but you are telling me that the presence of the military has been more forceful in our community than the police. Just their presence. It is the people that you have to talk about.
Really?
Of course.
No.
I'm not buying that. Not the people at all. Let me tell you something. Yes, we have respect for the military.
Desmond,
we have respect for the military. It's the same military that recruited 5 members, civilians, took them to Green Bay and slaughtered them and told us a lie. Don't forget that. I am not dealing with one incident. Keith Clark was murdered in front of his family's wife and children. 19 shots in his back. We don't know what happened to that.
And remember now, I am not here defending anything wrong. I'm putting something before you. Somebody just shout at me. Who trained the gangsters? They have put 100 shots every weekend in the body of people.
No, but that doesn't.
So don't tell me nonsense about. But and we have to still respect.
That's
respect
a different question, though,
that the military ought not to go to Mr. Clark. I don't want anybody to put that at it. I am simply saying that the police cannot by themselves meet these gangsters out there with M16, M40, M100 firing in a police body. What nonsense you're telling me, man?
Mr. Charles, yes. that comparison a while ago, but I don't know. Please don't advance that, please. You are more highly intelligent.
Which one?
Listen,
Which one?
Don't talk about criminals are pumping thousands of shops. Those are criminals. What do we expect from criminals?
How do we bring them under control?
By using law and order, stick carrot, whoever. Listen.
Randy said by using education. You can't educate that criminal. No.
No,
hold on.
Allow me one word. Because the one thing you don't do to eliminate them is to antagonize citizens. And nobody is criticizing the military for sharp action against those against whom there is reasonable suspicion. But when they shoot a man in the back of his head, when they kick pregnant woman, they discredit themselves and they discredit the state and they discredit
madmen to death.
Hold on, that's Ronnie. When 2 or 3 soldiers, when a group of soldiers,
what you're saying is a minority. We've been using that argument.
You are saying that about military as if it's a whole military.
No. We've been using the same point.
Yes.
That is only one and few policemen who are corrupt or who are brutal.
Yes.
We've been using that for 50 years, Pearnel.
Yes.
And you yourself acknowledge that the public of Jamaica have higher regard for the military than the police. Why do you think that is so? Because the publics know that the police is not 1, 2, and 3. It is a deeply, deeply ingrained corruption there, and that is why they discount them. That is why they refuse to tell them what they know. That is why they don't trust them. Yes, and what I am saying,
and that should not detract from the good ones in there.
No, clearly not. Clearly not. What I'm saying is that the military must not put themselves in that same diminished category. Yes,
those in the military who is causing that should not be there.
And therefore, the melding, the treatment as one of policemen and soldiers, yes, in my view, is dangerous. We used to have a regimen where if a person was going to be detained, a policeman had to do it, not the soldier. The soldier could hold him, but the policeman had to apply the law.
Yeah.
Yes?
Who is in charge out there? When the military and is out on the street, who's in charge? The little that I know about military training is not like when the military is out there, it has a commander, you know. Yeah. The military don't go and operate like the police, you know.
Yeah.
The military is supposed to have a commander who issues command.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And right now, one of the things that the military has over the constabulary is discipline, because whereas a constable can talk to a corporal like he's talking to his dog, that can't happen in the military. The discipline is sharp.
Let me tell you.
Therefore, when they go out there, where's the discipline? Where was the discipline they were killing Key Clark in front of his
My God,
family?
look at what took place in Tivoli itself, which we the public had to pay for, and which has never been requited, and which reduced the faith in the security, trust in the security forces. And we are still living under the impression, we may say otherwise, that somehow repression can curb crime rather than trust.
But anybody who holds on to that view is blind.
But it's happening in Parliament right now, Desmond Richards. That is the basis.
Blind.
That is the basis of the whole reform of the law that they're doing. You have people with Queen's Counsel and people with intelligence advancing that. Yes.
But we have 40 years. We have 40 years of record and evidence in front of us. We don't have to go back when Columbus came here. We can go back from the 1970s. But
2010.
Pearnel, you forget. If states of emergencies could deal with situation, you have been a victim of infringement of your human rights, you know, in the name of crime fighting, you know. Remember that.
Desmond, can I tell you something that I reviewed last night, writing this book that you know, that I was picked up, I think, on the 6th day. And I stayed until the end. Nobody.
Of the state of emergency.
Nobody stayed in emergency as long as I did.
As you did.
And hold on.
And you were a privileged son.
Hold on. I have a statement was never taken from me.
No, didn't have to be.
I've never been to court.
Yeah.
I've lied down with the chink them in there.
So, Mr. Charles, hold on.
Let me finish it.
Yeah. All
the governments, PNP and JLP government, that has never up to 2 years ago say I could be compensated.
Yes, hold on, sir. So, given that injustice, which you have stated and which we acknowledge, I certainly acknowledge, yes, what is different with the ordinary citizen who this government, and I'm sorry to say people in the other government, some of them, would want to see susceptible to indefinite detention? It's the same thing happened to you.
No, Ronnie.
It's the same thing happened to you.
I would never support.
No statement taken, no appearance in court. You stay there at the whim of some policeman or some politician.
I would never support that.
But that is what is right now, sir. Hello, sir. Even if they haven't made it into law yet, they're going to. That is in fact, Desmond knows. I know as a practicing attorney that this is what happens on a day-to-day basis. I'm ashamed to say it on a program that relates to the diaspora because I don't want people abroad to think so bad of us that so we treat each other. But it is so.
But the truth can't hide, Mr.
Can't hide.
No.
That is a fact. We have these illiberal, fascist tendencies in the highest realms of government, and we excuse the incidents of crime and violence and say that isn't the right to life the first right? Yes.
And then hear the thing now. Hear another thing that journalists and the privileged few are singing out. Hear this every time the workers. The masses stand up for their rights. You hear this argument. Oh, I am for law and order. No, listen. So
what?
For law and order.
I am for law and order. So tell me something. Law and order is not applicable to those at the bottom. In 1938, those at the top were, I am for law and order.
1865.
Yeah, I am for law and order.
That's man.
1831.
Somebody just called me a while ago and asked me if we're still talking about the Water Commission.
Yes, of course we are. We're talking about a society which has wonderful aspects to it.
Where do we go? What suggestion do you have for those who are at the table right now?
At the Water Commission?
Yes.
I told you, if I were in the position, we would do exactly as you said, Industrial Disputes Tribunal by 2 o'clock this afternoon.
While within 3 hours, they would send them back to work.
With consultation taking place. So you would correct that, yes? But if that would still not cope with the deeper problem, that we have to reorganize the public service and the public utilities because they are not efficient by and large and they're costing us too much. The World Bank, the IMF, everybody, as you acknowledge, sir, is telling us that. And the trouble is that our political system is not sufficiently united, not sufficiently robust to make the changes that will indeed move us towards, what's that word that you use? Prosperity, and that we use progress. It can't happen.
But go a little further now, Ronnie. Go a little further. Yeah. Between Desmond, yourself, and I, three of us now. Yes. Three different. Desmond represents something different from me and you. If we were asked to be a tribunal, and this thing was put before us, let me hear from you. What would be your suggestion?
For the resolution?
For the resolution.
My own view, which is not really fully informed, is that the National Water Commission is overstaffed and the entire organizational table is ineffective and would have to be rationalized to be able to be sustainable and at least to break even. You don't expect a water utility to make money.
No. That's not where I ask you.
What?
You are acting as one of the dispute tribunal member. I'm saying if you were around the bargaining table.
Just what you said. Go back to work. But make sure
send it to the tribunal. That would legally send you back to work.
But that could not be the final step.
No.
Yeah, but
they don't stop doing it.
But we're accustomed to But we're accustomed to do this. The history of labor relations, which you have presided over in so many respects. Yes. Quiets the fever now, but it doesn't deal with the cause of the fever.
But Ronnie,
we're
picking one sector, one finger out of the fist. We're picking one finger. We say this is the Water Commission. You have the police. You have the military.
No,
you have all of them.
Desmond?
My two cents on this is that first of all, I would try to use all of my powers as a member of the tribunal to say to the workers, listen, turn on back the water. Right? Now, when I say that, the next step is that sort out the payment, make the workers then get money to go buy food to feed them picnic. Yeah,
no,
that's the next one.
No, can't be.
Me just tell you my take.
Where that money to come from?
Hello, Mr. Thwaites. Listen me now. I will tell you where it come from.
Mm.
I am not the Minister of Finance, so I can competently tell you.
And if he says no,
and if he put on a tax,
hold on, look at it.
Water rates going up by 10%, you know.
Well, let us face some realities right now. Because it's not just one set of realities. Those workers are also at the receiving end of all the things that affect us now, especially increased prices. We are all suffering that.
Agreed, hard.
All right. Hard, and they are feeling it more than those who are managing the Water Commission.
Let me ask you one question to see if I agree with you. Would you construct any relationship between increased remuneration and increased productivity?
Well, and that is where I come into.
Okay.
I come into that one.
Good.
Because, listen now, as a matter of fact, probably that should be the second one.
Right. I feel so.
Right now, everybody in Jamaica who have any contacts with the Water Commission, can see the waste at Water Commission is PLAIN, you know. It's not something that you have. So therefore, the other thing we'll tell the workers themselves, listen now, whether you agree or you disagree, but some people are going to lose work, you know. Mm-hmm. Because me can't get 6 out of 3. Right? So me don't think the people who are on it don't talk like me, because them a look re-election vote. But me put it raw out for the workers, them understand. I make them know. So show the workers them their accounts. Show them their accounts. Nothing wrong with that. Show their representative their accounts. So their accounts, I'm not hiding anything. This is what I'm making. This is what I'm selling. This is what I'm spending.
And the worker will say,
where must I get the rest from?
And the worker will...
Right?
But the workers know what they're getting.
The workers
say, the workers are the ones collecting the money. The workers are the ones adding up the money. The workers are the ones know what the budget is.
I sincerely believe that those workers are rational.
They know how much money coming in and how much is going to payment and how much is going to lay pipes. They are well aware of that.
I think they are rational, you know. I think they are rational. One of the things that I think is driving them crazy, as it drives me sometimes, is when they look around and see the one-ton weight and corruption, it hurt them. Because they say this thing is that money is going in directions that it ought not to go, and we are not getting paid. They are thinking like that.
You know, Desmond, it's easy to say it, but I'm going to go with Ronnie. I want to say to the workers, look, there is a way, and you're not going to get all you want, but all of us agree you got to get something.
Can I give you some news?
Yes.
I'm reading here from another media house that the Jamaica Defense Force has reportedly been instructed by the government to mobilize its team of civil engineers to access the National Water Commission system and turn on water, in particular to have service resumed to essential health and security institutions, among others.
That should have been from last night. That is what Desmond is telling you, that I would not need to make that happen. Because I would have said to my workers, 1, Ministry of Labour, 2, Tribunal Express, and then, if anything, Supreme Court. It's as simple as that. The law anticipated that was going to happen.
One more minute. Your time, Desmond.
I know you have the Prime Minister telephone number. So and you are still a part of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes.
I mean, a member.
No,
so I think you have.
A man told me last week, say, Ronnie, convert me. I tell Ronnie, say, me convert him. So I don't know what is happening here.
Both are true.
So I don't know. You are a third member of the tribunal. Where do you fall, on my side or Ronnie's side?
I am on the side of the workers.
Desmond Richards.
So you're trying to be a Bustamante?
Veteran journalist. You hear the history that's being invoked. Thanks so much for your call. Keep in touch with us on the Public Eye. We're always grateful to hear from you.
It's a pleasure to be on your program. Thank you very much.
All right, Desmond, talk to me again.
Okay.
This is the Bridge 99 FM breaking. We'll soon come back with more in the Public Eye. This is the Bridge 99 FM. The program is the Public Eye. And the Honourable Pearnel Charles Sr. is the co-host as we join our friend Beau-regard at Irie Jam in New York. Good afternoon, sir.
That connection right now to Jamaica.
I read that I'm not hearing you.
This man is two things, you know. He's a DJ and he's as well a commentator of great news. Beau-regard, we're having fever in Jamaica with no water for the time being, but we hope we get a resumption very soon. But in the meanwhile, if you have any, send some.
I've been hearing that story, and how's that actually working out for Jamaicans right now?
Boy, school's closed today. Everybody's trying to do virtual learning as if it was COVID time, or as it was during the height of COVID time, because COVID is still amongst us, unfortunately. And the Medical Association is saying we're in our fifth wave. And the hospitalization is climbing slowly, but we're hoping and praying that doesn't continue. But
yes,
people are uncomfortable. I just give an example in my own place of business today. People are very, very put out because there's no water.
I can't imagine.
And when you're, if for others in the high-rise buildings, etc., when the storage runs out after a day or day and a half, that's it. How much storage can you have in the school that I'm most familiar with, where there are 900 children? Eh? So
do we see any solution in sight anytime soon?
Our co-host has a very clear solution, and he's correct according to law, and I believe that it ought to be followed. We've just had news that the army may be sent in order to reopen the pipes. But that's an extreme situation, but one which apparently, what do you think, Pearnel? It's justified in the circumstances?
Yeah, well, water is a justification.
Yes.
And somehow they say, wherever you're going to get it from, leadership has to demonstrate because there's a crisis. So I think that if I were Minister of Labour, I would have said to the workers, listen, go back to work. Don't let the military go open anything because it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you.
Yes.
And there's going to be some damaging of pipes by this and that and that. And it has happened before.
Yes.
So before they get there, I should say that the minister should send the thing to the
Industrial Disputes Tribunal.
And the tribunal should order them back to work.
Yes. And if they don't go, they send the military.
If they don't go,
yes.
Just for some clarity for the listeners,
sure.
who turned off the pipes while the military has to turn them back on?
The workers did.
The workers turn off the pipe before
Okay.
they leave, which is I don't want to say criminal. It's unacceptable. You ought not to turn off the water. That goes beyond. That is taking it out on the people, but you want to take out on your employer, and that is unacceptable.
Beau-regard, I admire the Honourable Pearnel Charles for his strength and clarity in that situation. I would have used the word criminal because if I take an action which is so inimical to your progress and to the society's equanimity, and in order to serve my purposes, that can't be right. And whether it is whether there's a criminal offence in law or not, we're not for deal with each other that way, man. Yes,
right.
And we're not for to drive each other to the wall in that way. No, the workers have an argument because they say they've been driven to the wall by years and years of neglect of their claims. But one wrong doesn't justify another, sir.
True, I agree. If there's an issue and they feel like they want to walk off the job or go on strike, then that's fine. But to affect the rest of your brother and your sisters out there in the communities by shutting off the water before you leave, that might have been a little bit too much.
Don't be soft, Beau-regard. That might be is wrong, and we have to have morals in this struggle, brethren.
Yes.
Rats which don't have morals become abusive to others, and we can't do them thing. And these things are at base in what is at stake here. We don't respect each other enough. No, the workers can claim that they have not been respected in the process of their desire for reclassification. I'm willing to acknowledge that can be so. But they cannot in turn inflict upon us something that can deprive life and deprive economy and deprive something as valuable as education. What the hell is that, man? You don't have the right to do that.
And Ronnie, the point is this, that the people who they are getting at will not be affected.
No, but there are two other things. Martin Luther King Beau-regard, Pearnel, taught us a lesson. Civil disobedience is justified in many instances. Yes? But when you are civilly disobedient, you must be willing to pay the penalty for it. The people who have walked out on strike, yes, in the way that they have done it, they expect to be paid for the days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes? But they, despite their action, they expect to be paid. No, how that go? If I don't work, why I must get paid, please? Yeah, because I have a permanent, what is called a permanent job. Well, I don't know about you. I've never had a permanent job in my life.
Well, let me add one to that.
But the strike is about, is it about pay?
Yeah, man.
It's about pay. But who pay the workers?
You.
It's your taxes.
Yeah. Boy,
because the Water Commission is not collecting enough money to pay them and run the Water Commission. It is the people of Jamaica that have to subsidize it. Millions and millions of dollars.
Thanks for the clarity that comes from both of you. Let us welcome the head of the Incorporated Masterbuilders Association of Jamaica, Mr. Lenworth Kelly. Good afternoon, sir. Is Mr. Kelly with us?
Charles.
We see his picture. Thank you very much for joining us. You're broadcasting not only for the audience of Bridge 99 in Jamaica, Mr. Kelly, but we're also linked with our brothers and sisters in the tri-state area through Irie Jam Radio in New York. Mr. Kelly, my co-host, the Honorable Pearnel Charles, encouraged this interview. The Prime Minister has recently said that we may have to engage overseas workers in the construction sector in order to fulfill demand. There isn't sufficient supply of workers. And Honorable Charles and myself have been thinking that there are, what if we had a settled system, a scaled up system, where untrained persons were taken on by master builders and the construction industry, and trained in a systematic fashion, rebating to you the 3% that you pay on the hard trust, to the hard contribution. Could such a system work, sir?
Not clearly defined in the way you have stated it, but yes, but the system apprenticeship is still very much in play. It hasn't really stopped. It may not be as widespread as maybe back when you gentlemen were significantly younger.
Why?
However, remember we have had the advent of the heart trust, and so that has essentially replaced some of what used to take place under apprenticeship.
But what's a master builder's view, Mr. Kelly? Why has apprenticeship declined? Just because you have the heart academies?
Because, of a formal situation, and the expectation in my mind was that heart would fill that gap.
So do you accept?
Mr. Kelly, before you answer my co-host, let me throw one at you, because let's just follow me through this. I've been there. Mm-hmm. We have hundreds of contractors right now operating in Jamaica.
All right.
Let me step back and tell you something I don't think you know. For the thousands of workers who are now listening to us, probably in America and in Canada, at least 70% of them are construction workers. Welders, masons, and carpenters. I was minister. Steel, I was asked to send 300 steel workers to Canada. I made an appeal, 1,400 came. Only 650 could sign their name. But they were fantastic steel workers. So what is my suggestion, Mr. Kelly, to you and to the Prime Minister? The best place to train a construction worker is on the job.
Correct.
The best place, because guess what? If I said to you, I am Prime Minister, I am going to spend $3,000 a week subsidy, what's the proper word?
Subsidy?
No, stipend.
Stipend.
And you give me 2,000. So that worker coming on to you is going to get $5,000 per week. Let us take a mason who come on Monday morning. How long would it take him to learn to lay a block, Mr. Kelly? 1 week?
No.
Under supervision.
You probably lay the block in 1 week, but you wouldn't pay him for it.
Oh, no. That's what. No, this is what I am saying to you. I am sending you 10 workers, and they are workers, and I want you to train them as mason. I am going to pay $3,000 to you on Friday. You put $2,000 so that worker get $5,000 to take care of his transport and little thing. Would you say no, Mr. Kelly?
System can work.
Hold on, don't go no further yet, because I'm coming with more. There are at least about how many contractors do we have working right now on high-rise building and this, including hotels? How many we have? How much thousand?
No, those are not where the bulk is, Sir Charles.
Tell me where it is.
You want a number of persons or you want a number of firms?
No. I want a number of firms that is going to say to me, I have carpentry, welding,
we're in the construction
mason
work
on the side,
we're
and I'm going to take
work.
on 50 workers, and I'm going to put 10 in mason, 10 in carpentry, 10 in welding, 10 in this, and I'm going to give you equal amount of money Friday to help them, and you put on something.
And take back your 3% contribution to Heart.
You could easily find formally at least 150 firms.
Yes, and probably informally double
Mr.
that.
Kelly, you know what you just said? Multiply 150 by 10 and tell me what that is.
Yeah, man. Sir Charles, we understand that. So listen to what I'm saying.
You're on the ground now.
Yes. So there are various ways of getting this thing done. Heart has a kind of captive set. And we have an arrangement with Heart to facilitate training of their workers.
Yes.
And it can be sometimes where the Heart facility is, there might not be enough projects going on even in that parish.
Yeah.
Those workers to come and get on-the-job training, but that's a standard part of Heart's program. And we encourage our members, all contractors, even those who aren't members, to facilitate Heart in that way, because remember, we hire from those workers. So it's in our interest to facilitate their on-the-job experience. And that's really where the thing takes place. You get to assess, and sometimes someone who come to you, you keep them.
Mr. Kelly, hold on 1 minute for me. We have to take a break. We soon come back. We want you to complete that point. This is The Bridge, 99 on Irie Jam. Soon come. This is The Public Eye on The Bridge 99, linking with Irie Jam Radio, Pearnel, Charles and myself, talking with Mr. Lenworth Kelly, head of the Incorporated Masterbuilders Association of Jamaica. Mr. Kelly, please continue, but please help us. Why are you waiting on Heart to train workers for you? Why you don't train them yourself?
At the top of that, the apprenticeship continues.
How many apprentices would you guess are being trained in that way now?
So let me give it to you this way, and let me complete the previous point I was making. So if Heart trains somebody within Heart and send that person out to you without any field experience, then basically you have somebody who does not have a skill per se, but they may have an idea what to do.
Hey, look at that. Listen to that.
You engage them on site to allow them to develop this skill. So you have somebody will come out. But yes, you are certified, you have gone through these things, you know, all of these things that you are to do. But we all know that artisans come with a skill, and that skill is honed over time. They get better and better and better.
Is that the most efficient way to train people for construction profession, Mr. Kelly?
What you would want is more of the practice.
That's what Mr. Charles is saying.
Yeah, man. So I'm going there. But remember, we can't make perfect be the enemy of good. Right?
Can I disturb you a minute, Mr. Kelly?
Well, you have been in a search, so continue.
Let me disturb you a minute. I know what I'm saying. Yes, let Hart do some training, particularly at the supervisory level. They need to send you some guys who learn the drawings and the mathematics of it. But if you want some construction workers, Mr. Kelly, tell me out every construction place you see my line up there morning time, I look at work. And you can know who can read and you know who can add up. Some of the best construction workers in Jamaica can't sign their name. But they're the best steel men. You know that.
Agreed.
They carry a 3-inch piece of stick for count them thing. And they can't add up. Now, I'm not saying you must go back there. What I am saying is you take hundreds of contractors, supervisors now on the job, and you put 3 men with them for 2 months. Right? They can't tell me them is a grade 1. Mr. Kelly, when I took over the Ministry of Labor, 70% of the people in Jamaica, the construction workers, were not
certified. Still.
Them the same as me, you know, if it's grade 1, grade 2, or grade 3. And I brought in Hart, and Hart went out there on weekends and certify a lot of them. Hart has its place. I am not objecting to that.
No, but I think we take your point. But I really perhaps want to broaden the question to Mr. Kelly and then let him fully answer. Mr. Kelly, we feel that it would be best if the needs of the construction sector, booming now in Jamaica, were satisfied by Jamaican labor rather than having to bring in large numbers of foreigners. If you agree, what would be the best way to ensure that we had that supply and range and depth of labor force, sir?
So let me just kind of see if I can break it down in terms of our structure. Things you want to assess is what you have coming as projects. Government tends to know, because projects don't just pop up overnight. So government tends to know maybe sometimes.
Sure.
Before projects come. We have a lot of what you call it, some people say unattached youth and so on. And the minister has spoken about mandating training.
Yes, sir.
A Heart and a Hope and a NYS and those. I think I heard that they're going to be like the one unit. What that does is capture them. Because you want to capture them first. You don't just walk on every car and plug.
Okay,
guys,
agreed.
some of them come that way. But try it with whatever the social agencies that need to be used and capture them. When you have now captured them, you have them registered. Speak to wherever you need them to go. It's not just for construction alone. There are other sectors.
Sure.
Hotels.
Can you facilitate 3-4 guys? We will pay them a stipend. Can you add a little thing on it? Because you're going to still be doing some work for you. Contractors will facilitate that. Remember, construction projects have different timelines. A project can be 4 months, it can be 6 months, it can be a year or longer.
Right.
Government bigger projects, usually they can structure something there because you know it's going to go 2-3 years, and you can run through several batches of people through those projects.
Just that.
It can be done. Let us start the dialogue. We have been asking for the dialogue. We say we have written to the Prime Minister. We say we are available enough, willing to sit at the table. We have always said so. But what we are about is allowing Jamaicans to grow in their capacity, to develop their skills. But we just don't want to be here, I need to import workers, and nothing is done. We already have working arrangements with Hart where they come and do what you call skill certification on site. Just as Sir Charles spoke about, we engage with them. Hart doesn't have enough assessors to go out on every site to assess every worker. So what we do, hard trains some construction supervisors, as what they call prior learning assessors. The supervisor, they work under that supervisor every day. Him can assess, him can tell you who can say ABC, who can write a proper essay, who can measure up them work, all of that, right? After they have done the assessment, we call in Heart and say, listen, we have 5 tilers, we have 2 masons, 4 carpenters, and a steelman. Can you now come in and do your assessment of them to see if they qualify for that site, that job site certification? If they want the full certificate, they would have to go on to Heart now and do some training. But you have to kind of have the certification to it. So I say, yes, the man is an apprentice, because remember, certification is the thing. No. And so whatever route you're going to take, call it apprenticeship, whatever you're going to do, train them on site, there has to be something to say.
No, we accept that. My view is that Heart,
this quality.
My view is that Heart's role is that of certification. The contractor's role is that of apprenticeship.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's not just a conceptual thing. That resources, the $13 billion that Heart gets from the taxpayer, ought to be devolved in that way. I acknowledge that it hasn't been that way. I had some responsibility for a time, but the training is best done within industry and to enhance industry, both local and foreign.
Mr. Kelly, before you answer.
We're agreeing on that, gentlemen. We're agreeing on that.
Yeah.
Before you go there further, let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something. Heart only have so much capacity. Heart only have so many beds to take in people in their place. Follow me? And Heart can train the supervisors. If you don't reach what grade run in 9th grade?
9th grade.
9th grade?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many under 9th grade we have?
Multiplying.
Right?
Unfortunately.
And so if you're not a 9th grade, you can't go to Heart. And when you go to Heart, you consider yourself well-dressed and in shoes and this. When Mr. Kelly tell his supervisors, listen guys, we're taking on about 10 guys. I am going to interview them before they go on the job. Mm-hmm. Right? You're not coming with smoke ganja and stand up on telephone all day. Mm-hmm. Right? You come in there, you going to this, you going to that. And tell your supervisor, work with him, watch him. And they will do it. Now, if you bring in some guys from overseas, and they're not coming here to take no Jamaica pay, you know.
No.
And they're not coming here, they're coming here as top class guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, nothing wrong with supervisors if they're going to help Mr. Kelly train Jamaican. But you have a whole lot of Jamaicans who are under 9th grade who red line up. You announce that you want a man to go on farm work tomorrow morning. 40,000 people down on your street. 40,000!
Easily.
40,000.
So I'd like to ask Mr. Kelly. You said you've indicated to the government, the Masterbuilders' interest in upskilling people to meet the needs. Have you had any response?
No, sir. And this is not the first time we have written and asked for discussions surrounding the industry and what ails us. But we have never, not in my tenure here, and I'm in my 4th year, had any response from the government in that matter. So we take a lot of the stuff has just been taught.
So you're on your own then? Those people you're taking
in a manner of speaking, that is how it's treated. But I want to make a point here. As you mentioned something about that 9th grade level. What we're seeing, is a general failure of the secondary education system and the primary. Because these are the products coming out of those systems. And if you're seeing those products coming out of those systems in these huge numbers who are functionally illiterate, there needs to be an addressing there. Certainly, we want to have an address there. We will continue to train. We have been training. We don't have laborers who've been with us 10 years and they have done steel work, painting, carpentry, some masonry and that kind of thing. So people develop the skill because they are there.
I know that, man. That is why you
develop it.
You ever sit up
but
yet,
it don't change. It does not change in research. What we have with Heart is would be the core of getting those people certified. But those people have the skill already. The issue bring the youths. It's to bring the youths
Yes.
who school, not attached to any kind of training or anything. It's to capture them
Yes.
and get them to the side so they too can start learning and developing a skill.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Kelly.
They have huge role there.
Let me tell you something. Tell the Prime Minister, give you 100 boots, hard front, that if anything dropping into in a broken toe. Hard hat. So boots and hard hat. And you tell me when must make man can line up out a gate and you got to go choose them. Because they will come in by the 100. Now I am not I'm not opposed to bringing in people. What? Because and you are going to have to train those coming in to be the Jamaican style. And if they come in, they can come in to help you to train Jamaica.
No,
but boss man, I'm telling you,
we
have them here.
Of course. Now, Mr. Kelly, it seems to me that we're really onto something here because what you suggest is we could do that with existing money, you know, sir. We can afford to do that with the amount of money that we are collecting for this purpose, but not doing as efficiently as we would want it to be. And at the same time, we would be lifting the skills, the attitudes, the propensity to join a gang among so many people. Nothing does that more than constructive work, and the construction site properly supervised and monitored, as your master builders are expert at. That is the locus for it to happen, sir.
Mr. Kelly, you ever get a man a hard hat yet?
let him
hard
answer.
hat and a shoes and he walk around, come back to Central Kingston. When he come in from work with him hard hat and him hard shoes and him khaki pants.
Well, you see, there's a pride in it, but I don't want the listeners to miss the point. So apprenticeship still takes place. So don't call it that.
But you don't have. If you have 2,000 apprentices, you're good, sir.
Yeah, man. If you get unskilled guys come, that is your labor asset. But usually, what you do, you put them to work. They're working along. They're assisting a mason. They're assisting a carpenter.
Sure. That's what we're talking about.
And that's how they develop and they're learning. So by the time that job done, there are some tasks.
That's exactly the point that
would have given him to do.
Making. Yes, but my point
so
is, why not scale it up?
I can even give you a better one. You see, some of those guys that you learn now how to lay blocks and how to nail a thing straight and put in a joint. If they're ambitious, some of them can go to heart and uplift them skill.
Yes, but a lot of them do because, I mean, you go across the board and talk to contractors. A lot of them supervisors were either a carpenter or some kind of mason. From that, and then move up till you get to supervisor level. And if you want to keep going to school, we have engineers who started out as masons, started with him father, him learn it. Then him go school, him go hard, then him go UTech and so on. So it's there, the system is there. But if we want to ramp it up, because remember the contractor will hire what he needs. Now the government is coming now in terms of to bump that up because government looking down the road and say, listen, we need 10,000 more skilled workers in a matter of 3-4 years. So let's have a sit down with the master builders and ask, how can we work this out? Okay, can you add say 10 more guys on your side, and we will subsidize those guys.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
does the tracking to make sure so they're not just coming and fiddling. And so when I come back in another 6 months, I can test and say, listen, we have 5 masons here. Come, let me see your thing. You understand? We have some carpenters here. Let me see your thing. We have to address the literacy issue as we go along. But come to us, come to sites, and learn to read and write because you have to measure up your work.
Look at that. And they have the incentive to learn to read and write.
Yes, you'll be surprised them can read them bill. Yes. They won't necessarily read no fancy document, but they will read their bill.
Mr. Kelly, I want to tell you something. I don't want you to believe me. When you go back to your office today, if you're not there, call your secretary. Send a letter to the Prime Minister. Say, PM, for years we've been asking for this thing and nobody no answer. Pearnel Charles tell me today that if you get the letter tomorrow, you're going to answer. This is what we want. and I'm calling you on Friday. Next week, I'm giving you 6 days. And I guarantee you're going to tell me, Mr. Charles, you're right.
You just resend the last one because it was sent like a weeks ago.
Pearnel,
So we just reset it.
Pearnel has
We
more
didn't
hope.
note on it, Sir Charles.
Pearnel has more hope than I do, but
We can guarantee
his
you.
pedigree may propel the answer. But let's clear now. What are we calling for? First of all, do we have labor market surveys, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Charles, that indicate to us the number of skills that we need to complement the local industry? And we also, I don't know if you agree with Mr. Kelly, need to start on recognizing that we train people to work overseas as well. Do we have numbers? We need X number of masons, tilers, etc., or the information is anecdotal.
It's largely anecdotal. What we would do from time to time would be to check in with some agencies of government.
Right.
So, ministries are a little tricky, but agencies, and they'll say, as we'll ask for, what's your 5 to 10 year?
Sure. Heart itself may have some of that information. Once you had a fix on that, then it seems to me there ought to be collaboration between the professionals, that is the master builders, and the state that says, how can you facilitate the upskilling of these people? Yes? To me, I would add one component. This is where the security forces come in. Because the discipline that is needed, there will be problems there, but not only the work side helps it, but I watched that Lift Up Jamaica program work many years ago, where one soldier, yes, on a site was able to create a reference point of discipline, not of coercion, but of discipline that helped a number of people to fix their heads and to do their work. Now, if you did that, I believe that there would be a contribution to the lives of those individuals, to the profitability of the sector, the development arc of the country, and very important to the social stability, the reduction of crime among our people. Mr. Kelly, we can do that on existing resources,
Fine, but there has to be the willingness.
Where is the willingness? I don't think the master builders.
We are willing. We have engaged with the heart to do what we can. We are doing that.
Yeah. So give me a moment. So I have to take a break. But the master builders are ready, Mr. Charles. When we come back, the people on the street are certainly ready, as you say they would line up in a moment. So who is it that is not willing? We'll be back in just a moment. This is the Public Eye on Irie Jam and Bridge. We're talking social reconstruction. We're talking economic uplift. We're talking the construction industry and the levity of the Jamaican people, particularly the restless youth, with Mr. Lenworth Kelly of the Masterbuilders Association of Jamaica. The Honourable Pearnel Charles has put a proposition. It seems that there's acceptance in principle of it. So who lacks the will, Mr. Kelly?
Well, Sir Ronnie, the government would certainly have to be subsidizing the additional numbers. Because if you're running a job site, I figure you need 20 unskilled guys.
Yeah.
When the government looks down the road, the government is going to say, boy, I need you for train some, so I'm going to need you for take 10 more.
Yeah.
I will subsidize those 10.
But we have the money.
The contractor won't take more than he needs,
No.
Mr. Kelly,
he's bound.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So the government would have to come in, and I'm saying the structure for doing that is perhaps too hard because you still want to ensure that those workers are being trained and you're not just paying some money for some man to come stay on site for X days per week.
Real work.
Mr. Kelly, take my foolish advice. The government is paying more to bury them. If the Ministry of Labour tell you how much money each member of parliament can give towards burying a man, right? It can train several people who
look at the
take
huge,
out of the deadline.
Look at the huge capital costs that we have had to put into national security. In my view, absence of work is one significant ingredient to crime. No, we're not placing the remedy entirely on the master builders or on the construction sector, but it seems to me that there is need and there's opportunity that needs to convert. That both must converge, and this is standing right in front of us. And since we are linked with our friends abroad, let's face it, many of these people who would be trained under this scheme that we are outlining, they will go abroad and they will earn good money. They will send back that money to Jamaica. They will make lives for themselves and their families. What more of a virtuous situation could we have, sir?
I'm agreeing with you already.
Mr. Kelly.
Government intervention is critical.
Mr. Kelly, I am going to use whatever little leave in me. I want when you start to mobilize them, you call me. Let me come down, come talk to them.
Yeah, man.
Me and Ronnie will come down because from where Ronnie born a town, you know, but me's a country boy, but me I teach him the country thing and him I teach me the town thing. Mr. Kelly, the guys, I saw a thing on television last night about 4 guys sit down smoking and 2 other guys come up and they're trying to take away this one little boy going to school to come sit down with them. Those guys are not happy on the bar.
No.
Trust me, if they ever get a chance to put on a hard hat and put on a hard suit,
I think Mr. Kelly knows that.
Come back home at evening time.
And the girl will love them more. The children will respect them more. The family will rate them because they have something to do. They have something to contribute. They have some hope and future in life. Yes, the reason why people behave a certain way, the reason why people go away is because they do not have any hope in the Jamaican enterprise. And what we are talking about here today is of great significance because this is an imminent situation. It's not something that is 5 years down the line. With the proper calibration and with the will that Mr. Lenworth Kelly speaks of, this can happen. It can begin to happen in 3 months.
Oh, man, Mr. Kelly, I want to congratulate you because I have sat at the table with the master builders. I have worked out payment for various skills over my period of time, and I am happy to see a man like you just join with us and tell the government
we join with him
that this bridge that coming that want to bridge the gap between the unemployed, the man who give up, and the man who is egotistic enough to walk home. Even if not get the money, you know, he come home and we will help you buy somebody hard shoe. Some man talking to us from overseas, diaspora man, send somebody hard hat them come, send some hard shoes, and you put on them boy, the man, and them man them become skilled.
Mr. Lenworth Kelly, thank you so much, sir. We look forward to furthering this. Much obliged for your input today.
You're welcome, James.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Lenworth Kelly is president of the Incorporated Masterbuilders Association of Jamaica. Beau-regard and Irie Jam, you're listening to all this. What are you thinking?
Well, this is a lot, sir. This is a lot. And, I just feel like everybody have a really good point about what they're saying. And all of this is for the better of Jamaica.
Yeah,
so,
man.
You know?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you wouldn't buy 2 of the hard shoes and none.
Of course.
And I better you give them hard shoes and hard that more send them when they come buy gun.
Well,
yeah, always better. That's always better.
But let us spend a minute or two on the psychology of this thing, because a person, particularly a young man, Beau-regard, you're younger than Pearnel and myself. When you have something to do, when you have something purposeful that you can do, you don't have to hide. Yes, you don't have to turn general. It may not suit you entirely, but you see it as a start. Yes.
Yes.
You fix up yourself. You know, you have a different approach to life.
True.
Right, you use the right word. You know, you fix up yourself.
Yeah.
And you are more acceptable.
Yeah.
In the society.
Yeah. Sure.
Right?
So everybody looking progress. Everybody looking identity.
And there's a psychology
that
goes with that.
So how then can we in our public policy and the complacency of our society be so get so accustomed to, so used to unemployment? I mean, we take unemployment as something that is. I heard you. We cannot custom to whole for people stand up on street corner. We can't do that anymore.
No, that trade man won't come tell you want to do it.
Good morning, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thwaites.
How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Give us your thoughts.
Yes, I'm a bit late, but just in 1 minute.
Yeah.
I would like, you see this program when you have Mr. Pearnel just step on the bridge, you know?
Yeah.
I will come back for it, but I want them to take half of the money where they must spend in a Zozo right around the island and pump it in this program where you talk about to get all the youth them with a skill.
Oh, Lord, I love that. I agree with you.
And I'm going to come take it up back, but the lady barely squeezed me in, so I now violate the time. I want half of the money where they must spend for Zozo. To spend on this program, yeah.
Yes. And
compulsory skills.
Aye.
But caller, you said something that I am going to steal from you. Because let me tell you something. Ronnie made a point earlier about the guys who sit on the bank side with them spiff. Yeah. They're not comfortable, you know, Ronnie.
Yes.
They have to run from police and run from this. If you do this,
social regeneration.
Recruit them.
Caller, look forward to next week, Wednesday, yeah?
I will call back and now violate. That's the real bridge.
All the best. We're on the bridge. This is the Public Eye. Thanks so much to our guest, retired journalist, former president of the Press Association of Jamaica, Desmond Richards, and head of the Incorporated Masterbuilders Association of Jamaica, Mr. Lenworth Kelly. Thanks to you, the Honorable Pearnel Charles. I feel today was a very constructive program.
Ronnie, I've been worried about it, and I'm coming back next week with some.
With more on that. Beau-regard in Irie Jam. What a blessing to have you with us.
I think that the bridge is doing a magnificent job.
Keep going, man, on your end.
The management.
Congratulations to Irie Jam too. Look forward to joining you all next week, Wednesday, on the Public Eye and the Open Mind. Thanks, LaFine. Thanks, Richie. Thanks, Godfrey. Thanks, everyone else who makes this program possible.